Hi, my name is Brittany Starr, but I prefer to go by Alaya because there's a porn star that has the same name as me and she's quite popular over here in Europe. I live in Vicenza, Italy with my adorable baby wolf, Layla. She's a Belgian Shepherd Groenendael, but everyone thinks she's a wolf and they run from her in fear. It's precious. Let's see, what do I do for work? I work part-time for Nikon as a sales representative. I also work for Apple 2 days a week as a demonstrator, and I teach ballet during the week to little girls that give private lessons on the military base here in Vicenza, Italy. Sometimes in my free time I help my friends with their up-and-coming companies. I write little non-disclosure agreements and do some of those contracts and whatnot.
For fun?
For fun, I have the puppy here who thinks that my life revolves around her. She's precious, she's adorable. She's 7 months old now, so I've been training her myself, which is kind of a little insane. Wouldn't recommend it. I'm also training for a marathon, which is gonna be in Paris in April 7th. Let's see, and I hang out with my two closest friends here, Chris Bulliar and Kenny Medley, and they're actually the ones who've been helping me a lot with this whole application process and everything. And their friend Jake now is here. Thanks, Jake, appreciate it. And he's the one filming everything. And my husband, he's downrange in Afghanistan right now, fighting for our country and all that jazz. Pretty spectacular.
Are you the leader in your group of friends?
As far as being the leader goes, they joke, Kenny's nodding right now, they joke that I'm Princess Brittany because I decide that there's something we should do that's amazing and I run with it and then forget to inform them or ask them and kind of just show up and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do, isn't this great? And so my husband is currently deployed downrange in Afghanistan, and something that I think would be an amazing surprise for him would be for me to actually make it onto America's Next Top Model while he is doing his deployment time. Alright, so fun brief story related to modeling. My first official paid photo shoot was this past October with a German photographer, and one of my friends who's a German model, she actually got me the job being her backup. Well, a few days beforehand I was super nervous, and yeah, so one of my friends was like, okay, let's take you to some laps, it'll calm your nerves, it'll get some of that nervous energy out. So we're there and we're swimming laps in the Italian pool, and they have these little metal cords that separate the lanes. Well, for whatever reason, my goggles would not stick on and they kept letting water in. So I'd swim like one lap and then I'd have to hook my arm over the metal wire to fix my goggles. Well, we get back from swimming, it's great, my arms are a little bit sore. The next day, it's one day before the shoot, I wake up and I have these bruises covering the backs of both of my biceps. So I'm sitting there freaking out because I've been practicing all of these poses and moving slowly from one to the other so that for the photographer and whatnot, and it rules out more than half of my poses because I can no longer lift my arms. Yeah, it was a special. Competitive, let me tell you about competition. I think the best example of my competitive nature would be in high school. I was playing handball, and the team I was on, I was actually playing against one of my basketball teammates, and we were both going for the ball, and I see her get the look in her eyes that she's going to dive for it. I realized the only way that I could make it there in time is if I run and slide on my gym shorts. So I take two long strides, I slide in, tuck my feet up, grab the ball, chuck it to a teammate, and just as I've got it out of my hand and Kim's catching it, my teammate, April makes contact with my ankle and I hear a really loud crack, and I look down and my ankle is 90 degrees to my leg, and all I'm thinking is, it was so painful. So I freak out and I just try to straighten my leg and jump back up to get back into the game. I can't even get up, I can't even stand on that leg. my gym teacher comes over and she looks at it and sends me obviously to the school nurse. I end up finding out that I tore all the ligaments along the outside on the left side of my ankle. It was really painful. As far as competition goes with being in the house, when I get competitive, I get driven and I become driven and focused, and nobody stands a chance. Alright, so something crazy or rebellious that I've done. My junior year of college, I actually got plugged in with a group of adrenaline junkies, which happened to be quite advantageous for me because there were no cliffs to jump off of by my school. I was in Florida, it was flat. The only thing they really had that you could do was jump off of the 40-foot bridge that was right by my college. So I finally became known as nicknamed Banff because every Saturday night I would lead a different group of buddies we would go jumping off of the bridge and then swim either, depending on which way the tide was going, about 30 meters to a quarter of a mile back to shore and vanish before the cops got there to be really angry with one of While we're at the church, I might as well give you a little confession. So one night, my senior year of college, one of my close friends and I were sitting around. We were incredibly bored. We lived in a co-ed house with 10 guys on the first floor and 10 girls on the second. And so I decided to take one of the pharmaceutical students who was, everyone called the quiet, innocent girl who did nothing wrong. And we made a little trip to Walmart. We decided that there was no better night than that night to get those little balls that you usually fill up with water for a water fight, and we filled them up with soap. Then we took rollerblades. I took a set of rollerblades and she went on a bike, and we just happened to rollerblade by every fountain in West Palm Beach and dropped one of those balls in to see how the foam would look when it came out. So we made one round to drop all of the soap balls in, and we made a second round to see how our progress had gone. Needless to say, I think everyone appreciated it. I am actually extremely relieved that America's Next Top Model is now casting for both men and women. While it will add an edge and a dynamic where I'm not able to compete, obviously, I am relieved to actually be in a house with both men and women. 2 of my years at university, I was in co-ed housing, and I actually appreciated having guys and girls there more than the other years where I was living in an estrogen overload.
How do you handle conflict or confrontation?
Conflict? I think conflict isn't necessarily a bad thing. A lot of my Italian friends here, they say that they only hang out with people so many times per month because they don't like conflict. But I feel that when you have conflict with somebody, you're able to see where your limits are and where their limits are, and how far they're willing, how much in love they are with their pride before they come back and apologize, and vice versa. And so I think conflict is actually something that's healthy and necessary for good relationships. Confrontation, I'm from New Jersey, so we actually appreciate confrontation. It helps me to grow as a person without somebody sitting there and saying, yo, what up, you're being a jerk. I'm not going to know what I'm doing wrong, and I appreciate constructive criticism. And yeah.
How would it feel to leave home and participate in the competition?
It would be amazing. Actually, not that I'm in a hellhole. I love living here in Italy, but I'm definitely ready to start a new chapter in my life, jump into a new adventure. I don't like to slow down to first or second gear in life. I love to grab the bull by the horns. I love going through life in 5th gear, locked in 5th gear.
What would it mean to you to win an America's Next Top Model?
America's Next Top Model, that would be an incredible honor, and it would make my life pretty much, and it would be an incredible surprise for my husband to come back from downrange and for me to say, surprise, I'm America's Next Top Model, because yeah, that would just be amazing. It would mean the world to me. Alright, I think the most trying period in my life was probably last July. In 1 week's time, my husband crashed our car beyond the point of being able to drive it. My parents announced their divorce officially. My mother announced that she thought it was in her best interest, or everyone's best interest actually, my mistake, if she split up the kids, so I was no longer allowed to talk to her, my brother, or my sister. And then my husband deployed. My phone was stolen on a train ride back home from Venice. And then I got lost in Croatia when I thought I was driving to the dog breeder's house, which was supposed to be 30 minutes away. I ended up 3 hours away with no phone, no GPS, and no maps. It's really special. So I realized that I had nothing, absolutely nothing left. I broke down crying on the Croatian border. Realized that the only option I had was to stand up on my own 2 feet because my support system was either in Afghanistan or gone. And it was definitely a trying experience. I now mockingly refer to that time period as the rebirth. But yeah.
Tell us about your relationship with your family and significant others.
Alright, my relationship with my family, we are not actually, none of us live within 1,000 miles of each other, but we do keep in touch on a regular basis. I'd say we're pretty close still. I don't talk with my mother and my sister that much anymore, but I'm still in regular contact with my father. He's actually here visiting me in Italy now. And I talk to my brother at least on a bi-weekly basis. With my significant others, my husband, he's still deployed. So we do keep in touch on a daily basis, which is great. And other significant others, my best friends, I keep in touch with all of them on a weekly basis. One of them is here visiting in the country right now. She got a job in France just so we could be close together when I moved to Italy. And my 2 best friends who are here in Vicenza, we hang out together pretty much every hour that none of us are either working or sleeping. But yeah, it's great.
And what was your childhood like in the neighborhood where you grew up?
My childhood, we joke that there was never a dull moment in my household. My parents, they opened up our house to a group of missionaries when I was about 8, so we always had random people coming in from any country. Since my bedroom was the only one with a connecting bathroom, I'd come home from school sometimes, my mom would run up to the door, no, you can't go in there, there's a family from Africa staying in there, they just got in and they're sleeping. So I'd have to go in my brother's room, tell him to scoot over, share his toothbrush, blah blah blah. And same, that happened with multiple occurrences, people from Japan, Germany, South Africa, somewhere in Europe, yada yada. But it was great. It definitely made me realize that there was more to life than the middle school drama, and I wanted to get out and explore the world.
And action.
Turn. That should be good. That should be good. 67.5.
What?
Okay.
Both soaking wet.
And let's have her come right back. Let's have her come back and stand underneath there.
Brittany.
Brittany, come back and stand underneath the pen.
Sorry, Lila was eating my
Oh,
shoes.
sorry. I thought you eat my boots. There you go. Just gonna zoom in here a little bit closer. 60, yeah, there you go. And I'm just gonna do a big pan here.
That's good. I don't like being on camera.
Cool. Anytime you are.
Faster.
Walk on back. Very